welcome back, growers, future growers, businessmen, businesswomen, and those who fell down the YouTube rabbit hole, and here you are watching this video. You know who you are. So, today we're growing cilantro microgreens. This is a very fun grow. Everybody loves cilantro. So much you can use it on and use it with, and it's super healthy for you. Cilantro, we actually start off by having to, you don't have to, but we like to soak these. So we want to start off with a mason jar is what we use to soak our seed. Really nice and easy. You can get these anywhere. And we actually do here 30 grams per flat. We actually bury the seed, so we'll get to that in a few minutes. But for now, we're just going to worry about going ahead and soaking these. So we'll go right inside here. So we're going to do 30 grams. These smell like fruity pebbles. They smell so good. You just want to eat them. Okay, so we do have 30 grams, 31 grams, it's not a big deal. And when we soak, you really don't need to, you don't need like, pH balanced water or anything like that. Just kind of overkill. I mean, you could do it, but we don't have any issues with cilantro. So we're basically just going to fill this up with water. Making loud noises here. You're going to go here to soaker. It's a little easier to fill up. There we go. Perfect. You'll see that they come all the way to the top here, so you just need to be careful you don't overflow it, because then everything will go everywhere. So let's put this right on top. Go like this. What I actually like to do is when I soak my seeds, I actually usually like to flip it down and store it like this to make sure that the water gets all in there. Sometimes when they're bottlenecking up top here, I don't know, I just feel like they don't get the coverage they need. So I usually store like this. Okay, so now that we have these in water, we're just going to go ahead and let this sit for about 12 hours. We'll come back in about 12 hours and we'll go ahead and sow them. So we'll be right back. Okay guys, we are back. We have been soaking our cilantro seeds for roughly 12 hours now, and we're going to go ahead and strain this out, water it down a little bit, and go ahead and sow it. So here we go. So you can see here that the water's a little dark. That's not a big deal. That's just from the discoloration from the seeds and stuff. It's pretty normal. I see that all the time with all kinds of seeds. Sunflower does it. Wheatgrass does it a little bit. So not to be alarmed. Go ahead and pop this off. And then just pour right in. Sometimes what I'll do here is I'll hose this up. That way all the seeds will come out. Nice and easy. And then we just rinse them off a little bit here, like so. I'm making this harder than it looks because normally I do this over the sink over there. But since I want to get this on video here, I just put a little tray here, so no big deal. So literally we just take them now, and they'll be a little clumped up just because, they're wet. Cilantro kind of does that, but it's fine. You just kind of sprinkle them on as you can here, as much as you can, as evenly as possible. Cilantro is very well known for basically, these little seed holes here will stick to the plants, so it's very important that we do cover this. For that reason, we put weight on top, and we give it a few days in germination with a lot of weight on top to keep these from coming up basically, because they'll attach to the leaf, and they are a pain to get off because there's so many of them. They're so tiny. So there we go. I'm actually not too worried about some of the extras in here because I'm doing another tray after this, so no big deal. I'm just going to kind of sprinkle these around a little bit like so. Get them spread out as possible. There we go. You don't want one part to have a little bit too much and another part not to have any at all. So I get a little nitpicky here. So forgive me while I, my OCD kicks in, I guess you can say. All right, that's not too bad. Not too bad at all. I will go with that. That looks good. Now, we're going to take our coir. Try to loosen this up a little bit in here. And we're just going to go right on top. And we're going to try to give it at least about a 1/4 inch here. You don't want it to be too thick because it'll have trouble kind of popping up and popping out. If you put like a 1/2 inch to 1 inch on here, then it's going to have a lot of trouble getting through the medium. So, but at the same time, you don't want it too thin for the exact opposite reasons, because otherwise the holes will come up. So. This is probably the hardest part of this grow. I don't know, I always think putting medium on top is just a pain. You just got to be careful because as you do this, the seeds will kind of get entangled with the medium sometimes and kind of roll to the top. Do the exact opposite of what you're trying to do. Almost there. I used to grow this with, I think it was only like 20 grams of cilantro seed for a while, and it just wasn't enough, just wasn't producing enough, so we recently upped it to about 30 grams, and we've kind of found that sweet spot of what we think is not too thick but not too thin. So okay, we're almost there. One more little spot. A little seed right there. Now, normally for most of our microgreens, we actually go ahead and put them in blackout for, I'd say 2 to 3 days. I'm sorry, not blackout, I mean germination. For 2 to 3 days, and they germinate, pretty quickly. Cilantro, because we're actually keeping this, we put a bunch of medium on top of it. It's going to take a little bit more time for it to kind of pop up. So, and we also don't want to take the medium up with us and kind of create a canopy of medium and have to push it back down again, and it gets really messy. So you want to keep weight on for a long period of time. So the stalks will come up, keep the medium down. Before we go ahead and put this in germination, we're going to give it a little bit of water. We already soaked the seeds, so we don't need to worry about giving it too much. So with that said, you know, you don't want it, you know, drying out on you. So we're going to give it enough to last that long. You hear me talk about all the time with my grows. I don't like to fiddle with my crops in germination and blackout. So I like to go all the way through without having to give this any water at all whatsoever. So should be good. Go ahead and lift this up. Good. Has no water through. That means we didn't overwater, but it's pretty saturated on top here, so this should be plenty. So now we'll go ahead and put a tray on top, like so. And we will put a 15-pound brick on top. There we go. I already have it labeled. I wrote on it with a dry erase marker, which go great on these trays. You just wipe it right off when you're done. It's great. So then we will put it on the shelf in germination, just like that. And we'll come back and we'll see what that looks like. So see you then. All right, everyone, welcome back to day number 10 of our cilantro. Now, this has been in germination for 10 whole days, and that's obviously way more than what we're used to with germinating our microgreens. So what we're looking for here is, first I want to say that we've given this water one time since the very beginning. When we put the seeds in, we cover them with our medium, and we gave it enough water to last all the way through germination. Now when you have the trays on top, they kind of, they act as almost like their own, biodome or whatever you want to call it, where that moisture really isn't seeping out, right? It's staying within the tray. So as long as you get enough water, you don't need to lift this every day. You don't need to check this every day. Keep coming back over and over and over. Is it doing? What's it doing? What's it doing? What's it doing? And lifting that top up. You just give it water. We let it sit 10 days, and this is what you're looking for right here. So as you see in the front and the sides, we have that cilantro just squirting out the edges. And that's what we're looking for, because what we're trying to do is prevent the seeds from coming up with the stalks. And by getting it to this point where we keep weight on it the entire time, we're doing two things. Again, the seeds, we're keeping them down underneath the medium. And two, we're making sure the medium doesn't lift up. Sometimes if you take weight off too soon, what will happen is when the stalks come up, it'll bring the medium up with it and create this canopy of medium, and it's kind of all bubbly and there's air underneath. You got to push it down. It just gets really messy. The greens get kind of stuck underneath, and you just don't want it. So I'm talking a lot, I know. Let's go ahead and remove this and see what it looks like. Ooh. Remove the weight. Remove the trays. And look at this. This is perfect. This is exactly what we want. We have these nice, beautiful yellow stalks right now. We don't need to go into blackout. We can go directly from germination after day 10, and we can go directly into the lights. So that's what we're going to do today. But first, again, we haven't watered this in 10 days, so we need to water this. Let's go ahead. Definitely dry. I don't even know why I'm checking, because we're definitely going to give this water. We're going to give this some ocean nutrient mixture with water. Again, half an ounce of ocean nutrients to every 1 gallon of water for that mix. So you can find the link for our ocean nutrients down in the link in the description box. So I'm going to give this probably about a cup and a half of water is what I'm looking like here, because obviously we haven't given this water in almost 2 weeks. So I'll go ahead and fill that up there. Make sure there's enough water down at the bottom here. Go ahead and lay that back down. And you'll see by tomorrow, this will actually start recovering quite nicely. All of these, all the greens that are basically just smashed down from that weight for the last 10 days, that'll all recover really nicely and come up. So I'm looking forward to seeing that and how that comes out. So we'll go ahead and introduce this to light. All right, and we'll come back tomorrow and see how they're recovering. All right, see you shortly. All right, we are back, day number 11 of our cilantro grow, and it's recovered quite well since yesterday. Obviously, remember yesterday it was kind of smashed down because we took weight off after having it in germination for 10 days. So when we took it off, it was just, everything was just kind of completely squashed, smashed down against the medium. So again, after having it in the light for 24 hours, it's really recovered quite well. I think we're going to need a little bit of water here. So I'm going to go ahead and give it some of this nutrient mix here. Ocean solution and water. Yeah, we're a little dry down there, so you don't have to. You want to give it. I give it about a cup. You don't need to worry as much with cilantro about giving it too much. I mean, you don't need to go crazy. But my point is that other microgreens, because the canopy gets really thick and they're very dense, you have to really watch giving it so much water, right? Cilantro, there's a lot of space between. They have a lot of room to breathe. So if you do go a little overboard with water, it's a little bit more forgiving is kind of what I'm getting at here. So now that we've given it water, we're going to go ahead and literally just introduce it back to light. And then we'll just come back tomorrow and see how it's doing. So see you shortly. Okay, we're back with day number 12 of our cilantro grow here. And looking through this, I don't see any holes on this at all. Actually, maybe one or two, but no big deal, right? That's the biggest and hardest thing, about growing cilantro is that if you don't keep that weight on, you're gonna have tons of those holes all over the leaves, and you just don't want that. They're such a pain to take off. And so again, this is looking really, really good here. So we're just going to go ahead, check for water again. We're actually getting a little low. It definitely feels light here. So we'll go ahead and give that some water. Okay. Looking at this definitely still has a few more days to go. Cilantro is a pretty slow grow. It's a little painstaking. I'm going to give it a little bit more water here. It was a little dry, so. You don't need to, again, I was saying before, you don't need to worry about overwatering cilantro too much, just because it is a little thinner here and a little bit more open, and air can kind of, get through here. So you don't have to worry about that canopy stopping that condensation coming up and getting all in here. This will stay pretty dry as is. So I'm not saying to overwater it, but, yeah, it's a little bit more forgiving, I guess you can say. So. But yeah, we'll let this go another day and put it back on the shelf. Sometimes actually what I'll do is I'll lay these sideways when I don't have 4 crops up here, just to get the best light coverage possible. Just food for thought there. But yeah, we'll come back tomorrow and again see what it looks like. All right, see you then. And we're back for day number 13 of our cilantro grow. And by looking here, it looks like it's filling out pretty darn nicely. We don't have any true leaves yet. I think we still have a few more days before we start seeing those beautiful true leaves that the cilantro has. It's pretty cool. Up through the cotyledons, you just have this really pretty just little leaf that kind of like sticks up in the air. And that's kind of how you know that they're ready to go. We don't have that yet. I don't see any evidence that they're starting to come up. Cilantro is a slow grow. No big deal. So we'll just go ahead and check the water today. Let's see here. Yeah, we're a little dry, so definitely going to give it some water. Let's see. Again, don't worry about overwatering cilantro too much. Give it a good cup. Just because it's so thin that, again, the water doesn't get clogged up in the canopy of the greens. So you really need to worry too much. So, nice quick day today. We'll just go ahead and take it, put it right back in the light. And we'll come back again tomorrow. All right, so see you shortly. And we're back for day number 14 of our cilantro grow. So right now, basically, we're just waiting for those true leaves to really kind of poke up through the middle. This is looking really good. It's filled out great over the last few days, and we're just about there, guys. Again, we're just waiting for those true leaves, and they're very hard to miss. They grow quite a bit, and they're absolutely beautiful, and that's the point that you want to get to with cilantro. So let's go ahead and give it a good look here. This kind of feels like we're going to need a little bit of water, and we're a little dry. So I'll go ahead and give it some more water. Go ahead and give it a little over a cup there. It was pretty dry, so shouldn't be an issue. Put that down slow so it doesn't splash up any water. Done that before. Okay. Simple as that. Again, it's kind of the same thing every day right now until we see those true leaves start to come up. It's a little boring. I know cilantro does that. It's not a super fast grower. So we'll go ahead and put this on the shelf for another day. We'll come back tomorrow and see if we see any true leaves. All right, see you shortly. Okay, back to day number 15 of cilantro. So I'm actually starting to see today the true leaves starting to come through the middle, which means that this is going to be ready in about a day or so. This is looking great. It's nice. I mean, it's about as thick as cilantro gets. It is a little light of a crop. But I actually have a restaurant that's coming to pick this up. Sometimes they come and pick up a day early. That way they can use the greens, for the next few days at the restaurant, nice and fresh, and just cut themselves. So I'm not going to be harvesting this. Normally what I would do is I would harvest cilantro into about a 1 ounce container. It's the 2 ounce containers that we use. However, we only put about 1 ounce of cilantro in a 2 ounce container just because cilantro is so light and fluffy. So just kind of food for thought there. Cilantro we do sell 1 ounce at a time just because you get so much for 1 ounce. So, but this has been great. I'm really happy with this grow. We don't have any holes on this at all. It looks absolutely gorgeous, looks beautiful. And you would just harvest this just like you would any other microgreen. Very easy, very simple. It actually smells really good when you start to harvest it as well. Got that really citrusy kind of, beautiful cilantro smell that, we're all accustomed to. So, but yeah, I hope you like this grow, and, put in those comment boxes, some grows that you'd like to see in the future. I'm trying to figure out, the direction of, what type of grows we want to do, and if there's anything, that we could do as well on the side, maybe any microgreen recipes or, things along that line that maybe we can start to feature on this channel. So, but anyways, we'll see you guys soon, and look forward to our next grow. All right, bye-bye. Hello everyone, Peter here from Princeton Microgreens. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Also, if you have any ideas, suggestions, or questions, feel free to leave them below in the comment box. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.